You know, technically Disney owns Star Wars, which means that Mickey owns Yoda, so KO? Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is The Raptor, and welcome back to another one of my Death Battle prediction videos. Season 8 of Death Battle is almost here. If you guys are wondering how I found out that this was going to be the first episode, they revealed it in their live episode of Death Battle Cast yesterday, and they also revealed it on Twitter. And we knew that Yoda was coming, or at least a lot of us thought Yoda was coming. It could have been Yoda, it could have been Luke, it could have been R2-D2, based on the preview at the end of Season 7 of Death Battle, but it did end up being Yoda, and he was in the first episode, to my surprise. And Yoda is going to fight King Mickey from Kingdom Hearts. Now, if I'm being perfectly honest, I would have preferred to see Yoda fight Meta Knight. In general, I think that Yoda versus Meta Knight is the more thematic fight. I think it works better just as a fight on its own. And I know more about Meta Knight. I like Meta Knight more than King Mickey, so there's that. I know a lot of people were really expecting it to be Yoda versus Meta Knight, and some people were really disappointed when it wasn't that. But I know some people are also really hyped for this fight. But it's also, you know, because that probably means we're not getting Bugs versus Mickey this season, and I feel like Yoda was Meta Knight's best opponent anyway, so, you know, there's that. You did this, didn't you? Somehow this is your fault. I'm gonna buy you all! But even though I would have preferred to see Meta Knight, I still don't mind this fight too much. In fact, there was actually a small part of me that thought that this fight was going to happen beforehand, just because apparently Death Battle has said that this season may contain some fights that they've joked around before on Death Battle Cast, and Yoda versus King Mickey was one of those fights. So in that sense, it kind of is a legacy matchup. It's like a legacy matchup for Death Battle specifically. Even though I would have preferred to see Meta Knight, I can still understand why they decided to go this route instead. And I can't be that upset because I really love Yoda. I'm really happy that Yoda's coming to Death Battle now. He is actually my favorite Star Wars character, so I'm really happy to see him get the representation that I feel that he deserves. But now let's actually start talking about this fight. I could list off feats for these characters as much as I wanted to, because these characters do have their fair share of feats, but this seems to be one of those fights where the upper limits of their abilities and everything like that, at least for the most part, is revealed through scaling. So I'm mostly just going to focus on that. I'm going to mostly focus on the scaling that these guys have, as I think it would be more helpful in this case. I guess one thing I should make clear right off the bat is that I don't think that Death Battle is going to put Yoda any higher than planet level in terms of telekinetic power or energy barriers or anything like that. They just had Obi-Wan Kenobi on the show, and the highest that they put him, even potentially speaking, was planet level. So I don't see that being any different for Yoda. Realistically, if you tried hard enough, you could probably get Yoda up to like the star level, or maybe even further if you really tried. But in terms of this Death Battle episode itself, I don't see Yoda getting any higher than planet level in terms of AP or durability. And of course, Yoda has a bunch of versatile techniques besides just telekinesis. Like, he's got precognition, he's got his mind tricks and illusions, he's got mental barriers, he can absorb energy and redirect energy, he can mentally sense virtually everything around him from his surroundings to his opponents, while also simultaneously trying to find their weaknesses. He can also heal with the Force, etc, etc. He's got a bunch of abilities with the Force. He's also got a practically unlimited supply of Force energy, so he's not really going to be losing any stamina, at least not in that regard. And he's also got his trusty lightsaber, of course, which can cut through most things. There are some things in the Star Wars universe which it can't cut through, or at least it has a very hard time cutting through, but it's still able to easily slice through most things nonetheless. When it comes to speed, we know that Yoda is very quick and agile, he's a very quick thinker, but in terms of where Death Battle is actually going to place his speed, they're probably going to put him at around the same level as Obi-Wan, because why wouldn't they do that? And they said that Obi-Wan was nearly 70,000 times faster than Kakashi's over Mach 2,000 feet, where he intercepted the lightning. So if we go off of that and give Yoda a few benefits of the doubt here and there, then you can make a case for Yoda being around 25 times the speed of light. Again, you might have your own scaling, your own feats that you find or anything like that, but that is about the highest I could see Death Battle putting Yoda. Again, like how we think Death Battle is not going to give him anything higher than planet level, or at least not much, I don't see them putting him much higher than around 25 times the speed of light, which personally I wouldn't have too much of an issue with. That's fine by me. And we know that Yoda is also very experienced. He was 900 years old when he died in Return of the Jedi, so that's a lot of experience under his belt. And we know that he's one of the more intelligent Jedi around, not just in terms of like philosophy and everything, but we know that he was also, you know, ordering troops and stuff like that in the prequels. So, you know, it's the kind of thing, like paraphrasing Odin, he never seeks out war, but he's always ready for it, you know? So he's still pretty intelligent in more ways than one. So looking at all of this, we know that Yoda has a pretty well-rounded skill set and is very impressive in more ways than one. But figuring out what Death Battle is going to say about Yoda was the easy part. Now we get to the very hard part. Obviously, we can't just do the same thing that we did with Yoda for Mickey, because the last time that we had a Kingdom Hearts character on the show was all the way back in season 5. It feels like such a long time ago now. And that was Sora versus Pit, as everybody remembers. And I don't think it's any secret at this point that Kingdom Hearts and Sora, just the whole Kingdom Hearts universe in general, was heavily lowballed in that fight. Like, if you were to give the numbers that they gave for Obi-Wan to Yoda and take the numbers that they gave for Sora and give them to Mickey, then Yoda would win 100%. There's no question about that. Yoda's numbers are just far superior in that sense. Obi-Wan's numbers are far superior than Sora's based on the respective death battles. But again, that's definitely not accurate for Sora. And I feel like Death Battle may have made adjustments to their analyses when it comes to Kingdom Hearts characters, just because it's been so long. I feel like it's more likely that Mickey's going to get a more accurate analysis when compared to Sora than Yoda will when compared to Obi-Wan, just because it's been so long and they've probably refreshed some things. Trying to pinpoint exactly where the Kingdom Hearts characters lie is really tough because of all the conflicting information out there, but no matter what level they decide to put King Mickey at, I definitely think it's going to be higher than the level that they put Yoda at. Just for reference, the Kingdom Hearts characters can range from like above star level all the way up to like above universal level. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And before you say that Death Battle would never do something like that based on their track record, there are some people at Death Battle who have been talking about Kingdom Hearts characters on the Death Battle cast, and some people who are closely tied to researching have put Kingdom Hearts characters like Sora, you know, when they're doing like debates for fun, they have put characters like Sora at the universal level, which could actually be a result of them doing research for Yoda versus Mickey, you know, who knows? That's just a theory of mine. Now, of course, that could be completely unrelated. It could just be something they decided to say for the fun of it, but regardless, it still means that the idea of universal Kingdom Hearts characters is probably still circulating around the Death Battle headquarters at least a little bit. But again, you can buy into that if you want to, you don't have to. But regardless of what level they decide to put King Mickey at, I definitely think it's going to be higher than Yoda. King Mickey may not be the #1 most powerful character in Kingdom Hearts, but he's still prominent enough and powerful enough that he should realistically get that kind of scaling. So when it comes to stuff like AP and durability, I definitely think that King Mickey is going to have the advantage, possibly by a large amount, possibly by an even larger amount. Again, it just depends on where Death Battle's going to place him. I don't know where they're going to place him, but regardless of what they do, he should still be stronger and more durable. But there is still more than strength and durability, so let's talk about the other stuff. Like Yoda, King Mickey also has a wide variety of abilities thanks to his Keyblades or blades that he's used over the years, as well as his magic. You know, he can freeze time, he can teleport, he can heal, he can create force fields, he can manipulate energy and even the elements to a certain degree. You know, he's got telepathy, he can fly, he's got some hacks or some abilities regarding souls and other special abilities or specific abilities. He's got a bunch of abilities, but I don't want to be here all day. The point is, it seems that both of these characters do have specific counters to each other's abilities. I don't really think there's a huge advantage there, but when it comes to stuff like just the sheer number of abilities that these guys have, I think that in general, King Mickey just has more. He's got more abilities thanks to his magic, and I think that in general, that's just going to make him more unpredictable. And thanks to his physical superiority, at least when it comes to stuff like strength and durability, it probably means that he's going to be able to exploit those weaknesses, or I guess more take advantage of those counters more often than Yoda could, at least in my opinion. Speed is the most debatable for these two in my opinion. I think that Yoda should be able to avoid the Keyblade beams without that much difficulty, and you know, again, if you want to compare Obi-Wan's speed to Sora's speed, what they said in Sora versus Pit, like where he can dodge lightning and everything like that, then yeah, Yoda would be faster than King Mickey by that logic, but in reality, I think there's enough evidence to prove that Sora and other Kingdom Hearts characters should be faster than light to massively faster than light, and I think that that should apply to King Mickey as well. But even if King Mickey wasn't quite that fast, I don't think that, even if Yoda did have the speed advantage, I don't think it would be enough to just win him the fight on its own, especially with all the other advantages that King Mickey has over Yoda, and to the extent that those advantages are. Of course, Yoda does have his precognition, and he does have his sensory abilities, so he might have the edge in terms of speed. That's a big might, though. I'm not 100% sure about that. But still, even if he does have the advantage in terms of overall speed, I think that Mickey does have other ways to make up for it. I don't think that's enough to just give Yoda the win on its own. It's probably one of the smaller physical gaps, and that's the smallest physical gap seems to be in favor of Yoda, whereas the bigger ones are in favor of King Mickey. So, you know, that kind of paints a clear picture. And of course, I could keep talking about other things, like they're both hundreds of years old, if I recall correctly. They're both really good fighters. They're both really experienced. And in terms of whether or not Yoda's lightsaber could cut through Mickey's weapon, I don't even really want to touch on that. That's really messy because, like I said, there are materials in Star Wars that lightsabers can't cut through, or at least they have a very hard time cutting through them. But when you're actually trying to compare that to metals or materials outside of the Star Wars universe, it's really hard to find that threshold. If I really had to guess, then I would say just because of the magical property that no, Yoda wouldn't just be able to easily slice through it with his lightsaber, but you know, don't quote me on that, I could be completely wrong, but that would be my guess. Basically, the way that I see this is that if we give Yoda the benefit of the doubt in basically every regard, then the way that the advantages could line up is Yoda has a bit of an experience advantage, he's got the intelligence advantage, and maybe the speed advantage, but then King Mickey solidly has the versatility advantage and a massive leg up in terms of AP and durability. Again though, I could definitely see them giving Mickey the speed advantage depending on what they find, and in terms of the other advantages that Yoda holds, I don't really see them being game changers, if he's technically even holding those advantages at all. And this really sucks for me to say because I really like Yoda. He's my favorite Star Wars character, and even though I like that he's coming to Death Battle, I really don't want to see him die. But if I'm being honest, I think that King Mickey is probably going to win this one. If Yoda does win, it would have to be because his abilities are just like hackier or they counter Mickey's abilities better than I think they do, but I really don't think that's the case. I think that in general, Mickey's greater physical abilities, at least for the most part, if not for everything, is just going to pull him through in this fight. Want to see Yoda die? I do not. But have to, I may. But anyway, guys, that brings us to the end of the prediction video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Who do you think is going to win? Do you think Yoda's going to win, or do you think King Mickey's going to win? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd really like to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like, comment your comments down below, subscribe if you could too, that would be amazing. But no matter what you guys do, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm really excited for Season 8. I hope this is going to be a good first episode. And yeah, that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.